bring the world together. But some people and fans are being devised are being, like dividing us up by race and characteristic. So ISO Speed confronted by Argentina fans after Argentina beat Cape Verde in the World Cup thriller, and ISO Speed experienced some racism um, from the Argentina fans, and I think FIFA is looking into this now because this is not right. As I said before, the World Cup games supposed to be like a unification for the world. It should unite the world. We all the countries of the world, the 48 teams were competing. But they're competing in a manner where they're showing good sportsmanship. I haven't seen any players being rude or disrespectful or dismissive to any other player. And the fans should just follow suit and make this a unification process. You know, and don't make it a divisive thing through race and skin color and and vulgarity. But ISO Speed was treated harshly by the Argentinian fans. And if you guys know, so let's pivot for a little bit. If you guys know the history with Argentina, and just look back in any point in history and make an assessment of the Argentinian national soccer team or football team. Americans say soccer, we say football. But for reference, I'm gonna say football because that's what I grew up and used to say, football. I'm not gonna say soccer. So just make an assessment of the Argentinian football team over the years. You can go back 10, 15, 20 years and look and tell me how many black players have you seen on that team on the world stage on the Argentinian team. So if you all didn't know that the history of Argentina on and the topic of racism and how they're so racist that they don't have any black players on the team. Not one. I haven't seen a black Argentinian soccer player on the Argent football player on the Argentina national team. Never in my life. And I've been watching, I've been watching soccer from I was a whipper. Well, I'm gonna say football. I keep saying soccer, but I've been watching football since I was a whipper, and I've never seen a black Argentinian soccer player, not one time in history, and I've never seen that. And if you guys do the research, don't quote me on this, but if you do the research, Argentina, the country of Argentina, have implemented a strategy where they totally eradicated the black part of their population. But because back in the days, like in the early 1900s or whatever, Argentina used to have a huge black population, and through gentrification, they eradicate the black population. They expel the black men, and they group together the black women with white men to breed, and through that process, they slowly eradicated the black population down to a very minute percentage right now. So the Argentina population right now is a very minute, limited amount of black people. And I'm not saying, and check this out, black people are talent. All people are talented, but black people are very talented, man. And there's no lack of black talent in Argentina as it relates to football, while you cannot see a black Argentina football player playing and representing Argentina. I don't think there's lack of talent in that regard. So I think it's systematically done to because of racism, and I think the Argentinians are very racist. And on the contrary, you see black nations, black people are rooting for Argentina in these games and rooting for, the team and stuff like that. But they don't know the history about racism and how black Argentinians are eradicated from the, black men specifically because they wanted they keep the black woman because they want to breed a black woman back in the days. But Argentina have a dark racist past as it relates to black people, and that's why you see that that's what you see that ISO Speed was treated in such ways in the match. You know, we know the history. We know the history. We know the history. And if some of you are, if some, especially a lot of Caribbean, and I'm not gonna say Jamaicans, they root for Argentina. A lot of them root for Argentina. But if they know how disgusting the Argentinian history is as it relates to racism and how they systematically eradicated the black population in Argentina, you want to be rooting for Argentina. I know y'all love Messi and all that, and but Argentina has a very dark past, and they're very, very racist, man. They're very racist. They don't like black people. You don't like black people. In recent events, I've seen black people traveling to Argentina, digital nomads and vloggers, and they have been treated some messed up ways. You know what I mean? And that's not good. That's not good. So that's what happened to ISO Speed. You know, ISO Speed is a well-renowned public figure, and I think everyone in this world by now know who ISO Speed is, and know that he's a YouTuber, and he's a fun guy. He traveled the world. He does funny stuff, and he was just there cheering on the fans and enjoying the game like anyone else. And that's how he was treated, with racist remarks and racist comments. And but FIFA is looking into this, and once FIFA get really find out who those people are who were making the racist remarks, because FIFA don't play when it comes to racism. They might be banned for life from attending any football game on the world stage or any FIFA event, because FIFA is a governing body of football across the world. So that's what happened. Another isolated story, but it's the same thing, but it happened differently. Where um, let me read you something. The French star Kylian Mbappe on Monday condemned Paraguayan senator over racist remarks she made following Paraguay lost to France in the round of 16 World Cup. Mbappe called Celeste Amirilla, a senator from Paraguay Liberal Party, a despicable woman who is unworthy of serving the Paraguayan Congress. Through reckless and brazen racism, the entire world has already forgotten the journey and the historic effort that your players accomplished during the World Cup. Mbappe wrote on X. So see another thing again, they were racist again. Kylian Mbappe is one of the superstar in these games, and it's something about those South American countries, man. Like it's something about them, yo. They're racist as hell, yo. They're racist, yo. Like, yo, this lady, and she's a political figure, yo. She's gonna call out Mbappe and make some racist remarks, and yo, she should be expelled from being a congresswoman or whatever down there in Paraguay, yo. That's crazy, yo. There's just something about these South American countries and how and what they think. They think that black people shouldn't be able to be competitive enough and be athletic enough or win anything. Like, it's crazy. And they're another example too. They have minimum amount of they I'm not sure about the team, so I don't want to speculate, but yo, they don't really like blacks, yo. They don't really like blacks. They don't really like blacks, and that's concerning. That's concerning. And I think now she's saying she's gonna sue the French Football Federation, and she's gonna sue Kylian Mbappe for calling her out on the grounds of racism, and she's gonna do all type of nonsense. But nobody's watching her. That's just smoke. Nobody's paying her attention, y'all. Because I get it if you're mad, your team lost a very important game against France, but you know the French team is great. I get it. You're mad, but don't display your anger through the lens of racism, and display your frustration with your team through the lens of racism, because now Nobody's gonna want to mess with the Paraguayan team anymore. As Kylian Mbappe said, that her remarks, like really dull the efforts of the Paraguayan team, and the world already moved on from that, and don't even remember that the Paraguayan team was in the World Cup because of her remarks, and it just killed the spirit of the game. It kills the unification of the game, as I was saying earlier, and it just kills the general theme of the World Cup that's supposed to bring people together. Then really being a divisive thing. So that's crazy. Let me read something more for you. Mariela posted a series of racist comments on X after Mbappe converted the winning penalty in France's victory over Paraguay on Saturday. Mocking the French captain origin, upbringings, education, appearance, France advanced to the quarterfinal where it will face Morocco. So they faced Morocco yesterday. Late Monday, Amriela issued an open letter in French and Spanish to Mbappe on social media in which she said her problem was with the player, not the country of France. She wrote that she regretted mistreating Mbappe with the same insult she received as a mixed race person, and that she had deleted her post. So now now she's backing up. But one thing you have to understand is when you cannot make some loose remarks and loose comment and criticism, you know, and criticize someone loosely like that based on their upbringings, their background, their nationality, where they're from, their education, and their skin color like that. And then you want to retract those remarks because the international community is coming down on you now. And one thing, when pressure build on someone, because everyone is talking about it. Everyone is talking about it. I'm talking about it. The world is talking about it because that was a wrong thing. So now she's trying to retract her comment because she's getting pressure. The French government probably called down there and said, "Hey, man, what y'all doing down there? We will starve you. We will implement some economic sanctions on you or something." So I'm pretty sure, 100% sure, behind closed doors, that the French government wasn't happy with that. And what's the president? Emmanuel Macron, very funny guy from France. He's a French president. He likes Mbappe because I've seen him, with Mbappe a lot of time, and whatever. And Mbappe wanted to go to Real Madrid years ago, and he was telling Mbappe, "Please don't go to Real Madrid. Stay at Paris Saint Germain. You're the figure."